In case you didn't know, I am going on tour this summer. Go to mcchris.com and check out all my tour dates. Over 45 shows. We're coming to your town, or we're not coming to your town. Please let me know if I'm not coming to your town in the comments on any place you see this podcast. Let me know where we should go. If I have a day off and you'd like to book a show with me, write me at mcchrisbooking@gmail.com. Otherwise, if you'd like to just come see a show and celebrate 20 years of touring with me, go to mcchris.com and get your tickets today. Okay, let's start the podcast. This is gold.
Here's the problem.
Do you ever have to poop during the workout?
Now, let me ask you this question.
You're working out, you're feeling good about your body?
Where were you working out?
It's private information.
But I mean, at a gym?
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no. Yes, but you're at the gym. What's far worse, what's happened to me before, you got to poop, you're on a run. You're out in the wild, running around. You got no
I'm
clue.
too committed, though. I won't go to the bathroom.
That's stupid. Why wouldn't you go to the bathroom?
Because I'm running. I've got my BPMs up.
Go, just run in there, do some squats real quick, get it out.
No, I felt the tingle while I'm running, and then I'm like, okay, we're cutting this short and we're going home. We're going to save a little time so we can get to the podcast on time. And then it slowed me down.
Why didn't you poop at the gym? Are you a non-public toilet pooper?
Man, you have no idea what tour's like. Because I have pooped in the worst toilets.
I have pooped in the worst toilets. I defy you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, no, I have my superpower.
Is finding the worst bathroom?
No, I can go anywhere.
Well, I'm always thinking about the ladies. How do you go if you're a lady and you're like a refined, fancy lady, and you can't go anywhere that's not totally clean? How do you go to the bathroom anywhere? Ever?
Don't go. I think part of it though is ladies.
They're not as crazy as men.
Have to always use the toilet. Meaning, sit down.
Yes.
So just by nature of that, they're probably a little nicer. Like you don't have these asshole men who go in and will pee all over the toilet seat because they don't have to use it. So why should they keep it nice for anybody else? Right?
It's like they're at sea.
The
way they're rocking back and forth and just spraying all over.
What do you do? Hold it. Do you not are you not holding on to it while you're
What are you, a street artist?
Just letting it like a wet willy, just whip around?
You Banksy?
Yeah. But
I'll walk into these gas station bathrooms and I love it when they hand you the thing that's now covered in fecal matter.
Yeah. The non-functioning
The worst thing that ever happened to me, and I'm sorry, let me just apologize to the audience, I'm sorry, but the worst thing that ever happened to me is I saw this one CBS News Sunday morning report on how fecal matter is everywhere. Like they showed the actual measurements for how much of it is we checked out the toothbrush, we checked out the door handle, we checked out a public restaurant. We checked out...
Public restaurant?
We checked out,
Shoney's.
all these varieties of situations, and it was just it's everywhere all the time. And the guy's like, yep, there's nothing you can do about it. And then you see then you see the sun and the trumpet. And
oh, yeah. What's her name? Paula... What's her name?
Yeah.
Paulie, somebody Paulie.
I hate her. Because I used to love Charles Osgood.
Oh.
He was on it. I used to get high all the time. And one of the things I loved, one of my getting high rituals was Sunday morning at NYU in my little apartment in Soho, which was just one of those comedically small New York apartments, which was a studio apartment, just big enough for a sofa and a desk and the kitchen. And I would wake up every morning and every Sunday morning I'd do bong hits and I'd watch CBS News Sunday morning with Charles Osgood.
Because it's soothing.
It was so soothing. And then it would end with the moment of Zen that Daily Show copies, and where they just show some nature footage of a deer walking around. And
you know what else is like that?
What?
NHK. This is my favorite channel. I love putting it on when it's time to sleep. It's the English language Japanese channel that is broadcast from Japan. They broadcast it around the world. NHK. You can get an app. You can watch it streaming. There's an app like on the...
I was going to say, I don't have channels.
You know, you can get it like on an Amazon Fire Stick or an Apple TV. Your favorite part.
The gas.
The
coming up. You can watch it on Apple TV.
That's
you can watch it on YouTube.
That's right. But you can watch it. Every 30 minutes, they have the news. And then the other 30 minutes is some culturally relevant television show.
I like seeing nature, but I don't want to be anywhere near it.
Yeah.
I was in Alaska, and at the airport, you see like a stuffed moose in the airport, and you look up at it. It's like 9 feet tall. You're like, I don't want to see this in a situation where it's not dead.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see one the whole time I was there. And then like on the airport ride to the airport going home, I see just like a moose on the side of the highway. And I'm like, it just looked like something out of The Dark Crystal or something. Just
I mean, it makes
something like an animal on stilts.
Yeah. It makes you realize how like there were dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Because there's still these creatures that are so crazy looking.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, well of course there were.
We'll go to a zoo and we'll see animals that just look like Star Wars animals. It looks like Doug Chiang came up with this
or
animal.
Sounds more like Doug Chiang just took a trip to the zoo and is now copying off.
Because there's some of these animals just like, we took some rhinoceros horns and we put it on a koala bear.
Yeah, no, there's some fucked up animals for sure. No question.
And so many, because we went to San Diego to like the ultimate zoo in the U.S. and had so many animals I just had never seen before. They just look like Star Wars animals.
Yeah. They're like, some of those, and then also like some of them, like you look at like baboons and shit, like, or mandrills that have like those crazy blue cheeks and stuff.
Animals are scary.
But then they have those terrifying teeth.
All animals, I feel like they will kill me at any moment.
Oh, yeah.
And that like, if there's something I want to impress upon my son, it said things can go south fast with animals.
I know you like worrying about stuff.
I do.
I just read in the paper, they had a whole list. They interviewed an ER doctor of what are like the 5 things to avoid that he sees the most. She saw the most people coming into the ER for. One of them, more than one person jumping on a trampoline. That's one. Another one, people who wear Crocs. Because there's no traction. They slip in the Crocs. So don't wear Crocs. Where I guess if you got carpet.
I've never had a Crocs, period.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. They're comfortable.
I don't get what to do with the thing. Do you flip it in front of your foot or behind your foot?
Well, it's whatever you want.
Is it 2 modes?
It's 2 modes.
What are the modes?
There's like slip-in mode, but then there's sport mode, which is when it's holding it when it's latched around the heel of your shoe. So it doesn't go flipping off.
Sometimes I'll rent a cabin to write an album.
I thought you were about to say sometimes I rent a pair of Crocs.
Sometimes I rent a pair of Crocs just to see if I'm a Croc.
You don't want to invest.
I'm not ready.
Give them a
spin. Put down a down payment.
Right.
I rented a cabin. Sometimes I rent a cabin when I write an album. And pretty much what's happening at the cabin is I just love creating a fire and maintaining that fire. Mm-hmm. That's all I want to do, is whether it's a campfire outside or a fireplace inside. Both times I was just like, I gotta keep this thing going or it'll go out. So I was outside with the campfire trying to keep it going, being eaten alive by bugs. That's the thing, is you go out into nature and then they never talk about it. But yeah, you're going to just have a horrible time because there's all these microscopic creatures that want to eat your blood.
You're like a buffet to them.
Saw a bear.
No.
And then I saw the bear and I was just like, fuck that. Yeah. And I you're not supposed to run. But I was
you're not.
I was like that lizard that runs on the surface of the water. Its legs are like
flailed little arms.
Somehow flying so fast, I'm not touching the ground.
Just your toes are digging into the ground. The rest of your feet is not making any contact whatsoever.
I could not do it. But yeah, I just don't trust animals. I don't trust anything. And if I go into the woods, I'm just like, I go on a hike and like literally I go on a hike down the street from where I live and I'll see a bobcat or a lynx or whatever's up in the hills. I don't know what it's one or the other.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
See these giant spiders, people that like, oh, I want to go camping. I want to go out in the wilderness. I'm like,
no.
If a human doesn't get you,
yeah,
then all the other organisms will.
That's terrifying.
Can't do it. Do you ever go camping?
No. I would love to have a camper.
Airstream?
That'd be great. If we're going...
I wonder if those are really as good as they look, because it looks like a filet mignon
I think they are
at a steakhouse to me. It looks that good.
Yeah, I think they are as good as they
That would be the life, because I don't know if I love touring because I love the audience. I'm addicted to having an audience and being in control and being able to just do a show. We were talking about writing jokes a couple weeks ago, but I just love going up there and never having any material and then doing a little crowd work, finding out what's going on, and then riffing off of that, and then I wait for a big laugh, and then I start the music. Mm-hmm. I love doing that. But this other thing that I love is the road. I love being on the road. I'm basically an old person. There was a time where I slept in my van. And
was it a big van?
No. It's like a Dodge Caravan. And I would sleep in the van just to save money. And I loved it. I loved living in a van. I could be a van person.
Were you?
I look at people in trailer parks.
Where you have to park at the Walmarts.
Yeah, I would sleep in the Walmart, and I loved it. I could so be somebody who lives in their mode of transportation.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask me a question and then go to the bathroom?
No, not yet.
Okay, I thought you were saying like this.
Oh, no. No, I was moving this back.
I thought you were like, it's time.
Yeah, no. Oh, no, I'll just go when that's...
I don't think Winnebagos... I mean, I've lived on tour buses. I don't know. I think I would rather pull an Airstream up to a camping site.
And
then have a giant Winnebago thing I'm driving around. That just seems too
I go back and forth. I mean, I think my ideal camper, if we're talking about money's no object, one of those AMC, I think it was AMC, old campers from like, I don't know, the 70s, I think. There was a TV show that was called like, it wasn't a Sid and Marty Krofft show, but it was almost, it reminded you of a Sid and Marty Krofft, that it was either called Earth 2 or Space 1999. It's sort of a futuristic version of Land of the Lost. And they took one of these GMC or AMC campers and just sort of made it look a little more spacey, but they look awesome. Camper, like, they all had shag carpeting inside and it was all, avocado green or harvest gold or whatever that popular 70s color was, rust or harvest brown or...
Yeah, that was the color of our fridge.
They look awesome. There were 3 axles, so there were double axle in the back, but they were real bubbly looking, and every once in a while I'll see somebody has one up, they went to some RV show or whatever, and there's like a perfectly restored. I like the idea of being able to drive, but like you could also go in the back and make a sandwich while you're driving down the road.
I think I would love that if there was nobody on Earth. And you didn't have to deal with like go to a campsite and meeting other people. I mean, I guess sometimes that might be fun if you ran into some cool old people or something, because I like old people.
Yeah.
But like, if I had to deal with rude people or something that were loud or talking or wanted to talk to me or just weren't interesting or something like that, the variables of road life is something that's I struggle with.
Although the good part is, you buy a house, you got some asshole living next door. Well, guess what? Now you're stuck with this house.
That's how I'm always talking myself out of like envy because I live in an apartment and everybody in LA has a house, but every house is a minimum of $1 million. And I say to myself, well, we could have a house, but then we don't know if we'd be next to Chainsaw Guy.
And even if you're next to Chainsaw Guy and Chainsaw Guy moves, you might, in a year after that, you might be begging for Chainsaw Guy because you might have.
I say the grass is greener. I say the grass is greener like once a day. And there was a time where I was taking a train ride. There was somebody who was talking too loud, so I moved to a different car. Horse guy. And stuck.
Yeah. That's right, but you already moved now. You can't move back. I'm sorry, you're not the biggest asshole on this train.
I miss that old asshole.
Yeah. God, what I wouldn't give for that guy.
Just some guy screaming in some guy walking up to you being like, you know what, you're not such an asshole after all.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're the worst in wherever you're from, but on this train, you're not the worst.
I see things in movies like Mel Gibson and Lethal Weapon or Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. People that live in trailers or Last Starfighter. People that are living in trailers. It looks so good to me. And maybe that's just my white privilege talking.
But I also feel like there's always a scene in every one of those movies when the guy's looking for something and the place is always a shithole and he's digging through drawers and stuff. They're always a mess.
Trailer park life it just looks like it makes sense to me. Because it's so small.
Oh, maybe you're made for trailer park life.
Maybe. It's so cheap. I hear how much it costs because I looked it up one day.
How much does it cost?
Not a lot.
Like, what's that, though?
$200 a month or something?
But you got to buy the trailer.
Well, I think a lot of people are renting, but you could, not only could you have your own trailer, but I was like, man, I should buy a couple of trailers and have other people live in them.
I can't remember if I told you this. My friend, Terry, he bought 3 of those Disney
in Fort Wilderness.
And he's opening up like a little Airbnb. You can stay at them. Made it like a little compound of the 3 of them.
Yeah.
Sort of made them nicer than they were, put a bigger deck and there's like a little.
That must have cost a lot of money.
Yeah, but
to buy anything from Disney. Have you seen these Disney neighborhoods? Would you live in a Disney neighborhood?
Oh yeah, I would.
That looks like creme de la creme living.
And that, what's it called?
They're like, this only is $8.5 million.
Yeah. That golden oak. I mean, that's just like saying, do you want to live in a $10 million house that also comes with private transportation to all of the Disney parks whenever you want to go?
Is that the perk?
Yes. It's one of the many perks. My friend got the membership card from Golden Oak because their family friend owns one of the houses in there. So he is listed as she did it just to be nice to him. Like him and his wife and his child, they're all listed as like occupants of the house, meaning they get this Golden Oak membership card that says we have a house there. But all the perks are like, he can drive to any Disney resort and park for free any of the hotels, which, they normally do not let you go in there unless you have a reservation or you're staying. They can go to any park for free. There's also
But isn't there stuff in the community like a pool and a pool house and a...
Well, those, I think the Golden Oak is it, but the Celebration.
Man-made lake.
Celebration is that weird... Yeah, and the new one, Contino, that has
when these things first appeared, everyone laughed. They're like, oh, that's ridiculous. And now a Disney Adults has become such a thing.
Oh, yeah.
That now people are just like, oh,
well,
if only I were a rich Arab.
Yeah, that I needed and spend my oil money on a house I'll never visit.
I saw one guy was talking about the VIP, the people with the vests that walk the VIPs around the parks. And he was like, and now that I've done it, I want to do it every time. They're like, how much does that cost? It's like $20,000, $30,000. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, is the park that good?
No, but that's not how much it costs.
It's $500 a person, and but for the whole, but
it's $5,000 regardless of how many people you have. It's $5,000, I think, with a maximum of 10 or 12 people. So it would work.
But isn't that per hour?
No, that's for the day. Well, there's a set time. I don't know what they say. It's like 8 hours or whatever. Like it's a full day.
You done that?
No, we almost did. we were going to go for the Ghost and Molly McGee, the Disney show I was on, because we were all super Disney nerds and shows at Disney. And they're like, we're going to get a thing. And we looked into it. And then COVID happened, so we never did it. But I think it's still like that. It's like it's roughly $5,000. And it's for a maximum of 10 or 12 people. And it's for whatever it is, 8 or 10 hours. I think if you go over the time, then you pay more.
You must have been over the moon when you got to finally be in an official Disney product.
I mean, yeah.
What did you get out of that experience that would have made Disney fans envious? Did you get anything out of it?
I mean,
because I know sometimes you love things and then you go work for them and you find out, oh wow, they are incredibly cheap.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's weird. It's weird when you put it together that, like, there are channels you could go through to get little perky things. Like, the first Disney show I was on was Fish Hooks, called Disney Fish Hooks. And I was so excited. And at Disney, they have these big boards for every show. It's like a poster, bigger than a movie poster, like the size of like a 70-inch television or 100-inch. And it has the name of the show at the top. And then it has a picture of every single character with a photograph of the person who does their voice. Mm-hmm. And I think they do that for everybody working there.
It's like at the lobby, or
no, it's like up where the people work on the shows. So like, I guess like the animators walking by, like, oh, that's the guy who does fish lips or what, they can recognize. And I was like, man, one of these days, just love to see my picture on one of those boards. And then I went for a record one day. There it was. Took a picture of it, had them take my picture in front of it. I'm sure I seemed like...
Was that the best of it? Was that the best thing that happened?
Maybe that was a best thing, but probably the best thing was we got to go to D23 for the show. So we were a panel, and then we signed, but just like being behind the scenes of D23, and they'd usher us in. We got to go into the like the stores and all that stuff. And I was like, guys, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I'm going to be a maniac here because I love all this shit. I'm the only person of all of you. And then they gave us an option. They said, we will send a car to pick you up and drive you down to Anaheim for D23, and then it will drive you back. Or you could drive yourself down, and then after you do your event, we will have a ambassador, host, VIP, whatever the plaid people are called, will take you for a VIP tour through Disneyland. I opted for the car. I did not want the VIP.
That's one of your big decisions for the timelines.
It was my big decision. However, I made the right decision.
Oh, you did?
Oh, absolutely. Because you also wasn't going to just be you. You could have been with someone, and who we would have been with, who we had spent time in the green room, was Kyle Massey, who was the younger brother on That's So Raven, but he was a voice in Fish Hooks, and his new best friend, who they were doing like a reality show with. The two of them was Bristol Palin, Sarah Palin's daughter. And I went with my wife, and they gave us, like, afterwards, we got like a big stuffed animal and some kind of like Apple, $150 Apple Store credit. And we were like, no, we got to go. They were like, you guys going on the VIP? I'm like, no, we have to go back. And I wanted the ride. I didn't want to have to drive down there. I was so happy that we went back. Mm. Like, as nice as it would have been to feel like it would have been completely overwhelmed with the two of them. At least the two of them. Who knows who else may have also been on this VIP tour. And then you're jostling, when you don't have friends with people like, well, I want to go on the Jungle Cruise. Well, the Jungle Cruise sucks. I want to go on the pirate ride, whatever. I'm glad I chose wisely. I'm living the mad Dana Snyder in an alternate universe right now, who's picking through your recycling bin, is the one who went to the VIP tour at Disneyland with
dodged a bullet.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably the best thing. Getting to go to the D23 and like being...
I got to go to Celebration. Keith Crawford had asked me to babysit his son, Jacob. He knew how much I love Star Wars. So he said, you got to fly Jacob here.
Wow.
You got to...
So it's a big baby
fly him home. So I was with Jacob the whole time. And
you flew from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. With the CEO of Adult Swim's son.
Just the son, though. Just the two of you.
Yeah.
To Orlando.
Yeah.
How old was the son at this point?
He's a little.
22.
I know.
Yeah, 22 years old. No.
9 feet tall.
Yeah. No, he was like a little kid. Like
a little kid. We were playing. We had pillow fights in the hotel room.
I mean, how old was he? Like
he had to be 10? 6, 7, or 8.
That seems... I mean, I would have been overwhelmed if I were you. Well, yeah, you have a 6-year-old and you're nowhere. It's not like, can you come get him? No. You're in another state. He can't just go. He can't at the restaurant say like, you know what, we're going to have to cut it early. The babysitter called. No, it's like, yeah, well, I guess I could be there tomorrow.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it was kind of hard to entertain him. I wasn't a great babysitter, but I always got along well with Keith's kids. But they were there for Robot Chicken Star Wars, I think. And so we were with Seth Green the whole time. We were in his posse as he'd walk around Celebration. And we were in this posse of people following him as he walked around, and people would say, "Can I get a picture?" And
Celebration, Florida. Or Star Wars
Celebration.
At the park.
Yeah.
God, I thought you meant Celebration, Florida, which is their town there.
No, we were there to meet. I was there to transport the son and then have him be there, and then I could be there too and look at Celebration Star Wars, because I'm a big Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
And Keith and I got along great, and we were always joking. He was really easy to make laugh. I could make him laugh. We always were out drinking, and he was always buying my beers. I was always making him laugh. He was always giving me rides home from work. Everybody gave me rides home. You know, Jay Edwards, we brought him up a couple weeks ago. He was the editor on Aqua Teen. He always was giving me a ride home. So if I see him make a Facebook post, I'll just say in the comments, "Can I get a ride home?" And
how did you get to work?
Well, I had a lemon that the C-Lab guys bought me, and then one day it stopped working, as lemons do. And then I would walk from Midtown to Little 5 Points, and I would come up with songs and stuff. That's where I came up with one of my songs called Robot Dog.
Well, you'd walk to Little 5 Points.
Yeah.
Then how'd you get to Turner?
It's a long walk. I would take MARTA.
I see. So you walked to the train station.
Yeah, in Little 5.
A long walk.
No, not that bad. I lived right by a MARTA train station in Little 5 Points.
Oh.
But anyway, we're in Seth Green's posse, and me and Keith are real chummy. And a couple of times in my life or my time at Adult Swim, people would see me being chummy with Keith, and they'd be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
Seth Green walks up to me. He's like, "Who are you?" And I go, "I'm MC Chris." And he's like, "And what the fuck is that?" He didn't literally say that, but he was just kind of like, Keith's like my boss.
They love Keith. I love Keith. I have a very similar relationship like you do with Keith, that a lot of people don't get it, because a lot of people always used to talk about Keith as like stoic.
Yeah.
Very, very, the Iceman, like, but that's just people who don't know him.
Or there's people that like have made a decision about him and have moved on. Like they never like hung out with him.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who enjoys mirth.
Mm-hmm.
He enjoys a good laugh. He enjoys a good hang. But Seth Green was just like jealous, offended by my existence, that I was like taking away his sugar daddy.
Now, was this while you're at Disney?
This is while we're backstage right before he's about to make his presentation.
Wasn't he wondering, like, who was this person that's just in my entourage?
Who's in my entourage? Who gets to walk around with us? Why does Keith like him so much? What the hell?
Keith called me, like, "Hey, send him a kid down with a VIP. Make sure you show him a good time."
Yeah. But Seth Green was not down. Love to have you on the show, Seth. But
he got married at Skywalker.
I'm not surprised.
And his wedding ring, they had custom-made wedding rings that are lightsabers.
When I went to Skywalker Ranch, have you been to Skywalker Ranch?
Mm-hmm.
I got to go. Good Charlotte. I told you about Good Charlotte. They were
band.
They were the band that was wooing me away from Adult Swim.
Oh, right.
And so they wooed me away in like the spring. And that May, they're like, we're going to Skywalker Ranch for May the 4th to do a MTV appearance to promote Revenge of the Sith. We get to bring one person.
Oh.
It's you. I mean, I rap about Boba Fett. It's like what I'm known for. So I get to go.
You were the hard sell. They were trying to sell you, man.
The lady in the town car was like, Hayden Christensen was my person before you. So you're sitting where he sat.
Like that why it smells.
Is that why it smells like...
Who shit their pants in the back of this car?
Sith farts back here.
Yeah.
And
remember what room you stayed in?
Nanook of the North.
Oh.
But it was kind of like my experience doing the Gathering of the Juggalos. It's where you are put in a town car, you're talking to a driver for a long time, and then just civilization goes away. And you're just in a car with a stranger in what seems like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It seems like Naboo, really, because it's just hills of grass. And then they pulled into Skywalker Ranch, and it was filled to the gills with young stars from like that 70s show and other things. I like watch Mila Kunis and Macaulay Culkin make out in the gift shop.
Mila Kunis.
Lex Luthor was in the bed and breakfast with
Lex Luthor?
Yeah, from what was the Superman show called?
Oh, like
Smallville.
Okay.
And I was taking off my Walkman and putting it on his ears, being like, "I'm a rapper." It's like I had a Discman, but I did that with everybody all the time. I was constantly like pitching myself,
putting your headphones on people's heads,
to anyone that sat still. So I put it on Lex Luthor's head, and he's like, "Okay." But he's kind of one of those things where people could sense that you're not rich or famous, and they're like, "Why is this happening right now?"
Because you're putting your headphones on.
I'm going to call my agent. But yeah, I remember being in the Nanook of the North room. We would smoke weed on the back porch. My room had a porch.
Mm-hmm.
And it just overlooked a field of tall grass. And me and some guys from Good Charlotte would be smoking weed, the two cool guys. But I remember calling my friends back home, being like, "I'm at Skywalker Ranch. I'm in the Nanook of the North room." Like, I was so ecstatic. And it's just such an unbelievable thing to tell your friends about. They're just like, congrats. Good for you. I hate you. But I remember getting a tour of the offices, the main, like, Victorian building.
Like the library?
Where George Lucas has his office. And I knew all the paintings because I went to art school. And the lady giving the tour was just like, this little fat, pale guy knows what he's talking about.
Put his headphones on my head. Is now an expert
and now I have to listen to his shitty music. But I remember seeing the Howard the Duck guitar, and I'm looking at like the Last Crusade cup. And then I turn around and George Lucas is there. And he's talking to Good Charlotte. He's like, "You guys could be like my, kings or people in the past. They would have like their court musicians. You guys could be my court musicians." It's such a weird...
Hard pass, Georgie.
It's like such a weird thing to say. It's obviously somebody talking like he's a king. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't know how to relate to serfs.
Yeah.
Hey, so this is MC. If you'd like to advertise on our podcast, please write us at mattersnotpod@gmail.com. We also have a GoFundMe. All of that can be found on our Linktree, linktr.ee/mattersnotpod. Please make a donation. Help me pay for Dana's beverages. Help us pay for studio time and the art. And if we make enough money, we can hopefully start doing video and do all kinds of cool things. Please support us if you can, or advertise on our podcast by writing us at mattersnotpod, mattersnotpod @gmail.com.
My favorite thing at Skywalker Ranch was in the house, the big house or whatever you call it, where the library is and all that. There's those little display cases, which I think is where the cup, the Indy cup and all that. But there was a little frame that had like 10 or 12 badges in it that were all different sizes and shapes. And then there was a picture next to it, and you realized, or I realized, they were badges from the Keystone Cops. And in this picture, you could see, oh yeah, that weird, like, sheriff's looking one was on that fat, dopey guy with the big, weird walrus mustache. And that was so cool to me. I was like, because all the other shit, like, well, yeah, it's from the movie he made. Of course he has it. Like, but tracking down these I mean, I can't even imagine. Clearly, there's.
What was that, Radioland Murders? What movie was the Keystone Cops from?
From the Keystone Cops.
Oh.
Like the silent movies from the,
but he didn't make them, though.
No. That's what was cool. Like, he clearly somebody just like, hey, you want all the badges from the Keystone Cops? Like,
yeah,
okay, I'll take those.
Yeah, if you tour the ILM, you see his collection of movie posters, which are all these amazing, giant, foreign movie posters.
At a certain point, it's like, well, when you're the richest guy in the, like, there's no hunt. It sort of took out to, like, eBay did it when eBay came around. It used to be fun to, like, it still is, like, go to a junk shop and, like, oh my God, I can't believe I found this thing that's always on my radar. You're always looking for it, but you never find it. Then it was like eBay, like, whatever you're going to name right now. I could go on eBay right now and find 7 of them. My friend the other day sent me he's collects these crazy records. He's in Guar.
I've been on a Guar album.
He always sends me, weird little records because he's a musicologist by trade. And he always is vinyl hunting. And he sent me one that he didn't get because the guy wanted too much money for it. He was correct. And it was something crazy. It wasn't this, but it was like, Gary Coleman tells you how to use the toilet or whatever, cat litter training for friends by whatever, Ronald McDonald. But then you go on eBay and there's, 45 of them. It's just, there's no need to
There's no joy of the hunt.
Yeah. There's no thrill of the catch.
I saw George Lucas's daughter coming down the stairs.
The MFC one?
No, not the fighter. And we became friends. And she would come to my shows, and I would stay at her place when I had a show in LA. Like if I was playing the Troubadour, then I'd go stay there. And one thing I learned from that time in my life hanging out with her is like what a normal person George Lucas was. Because he would text her, he'd be like, "Do you want to go see Triple X at the movies? You want to go to the movies?"
By the movies, he means
this is like Ice Cube's.
This is private movie theater.
No, this is Ice Cube's.
Yeah.
Action series. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but he liked to go to every movie that came out.
I mean, I hope so.
And would just go to the movies. He wouldn't watch it in his private screen room. He'd just go to the movies.
Did he wear like a weird, like a John Merrick?
I doubt it.
Sack.
I saw a picture of him online the other day, and it was just him sitting in a food court eating spaghetti.
I love it.
I kind of love it too, because it's like, you think people aren't people anymore. Or there's a point where people stop being people.
A friend of ours was his assistant, or one of his assistants. And she told me this thing that I found so crazy. Like when it was Christmas time, she would wrap the presents. So, I don't know how many kids he has. A couple kids, 3 or 4, whatever it is. But if I was going to get you, if I'm George Lucas and you're my son, right? And I got you that PlayStation you wanted, and I got you a couple games, and I got you, some weird baseball helmet you wanted.
I didn't buy you a robot.
Yeah, but like the 5 gifts I got you, he would have them she would have to wrap the gifts, but he wanted them all wrapped in one package. Meaning like she would stack whatever the biggest box was on the bottom, then the next, and the next, and the next, and then wrap those all in one thing. So it's just like this big, weird mess of wrapping paper that's not really secure. So like one unwrapping would get it all done.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange to me.
Yeah, I think sometimes when I talk myself out of, again, envy, and I think about rich people, I'm like, all rich people are insane. And there's a certain point where you've made too much money and you just don't know what you're doing anymore.
And it doesn't matter.
And you're wearing weird clothes that you wear once, and you're buying things that you never use, and you're doing things you'd never do.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, if you make a mistake that's not injuring you or someone else, like you accidentally, lop the back of your workshop off because you were trying something, who cares? You just buy a new one. You can bring some guy in, he fixes it for you. There's not as many.
So I'm with Kat Lucas, and I'm performing at the Upright Citizens Brigade, and she's in the audience. All my stuff is in her car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hosting a show they called Ass Cat. Had a bunch of people in it.
I remember Ass Cat.
Aubrey Plaza and some other improvisers I knew. And we got robbed. The car got robbed. They smashed the windows. They took all my stuff. Took my phone, my BlackBerry that I loved. I miss Blackberries. And this is kind of where our relationship ended, because I was like,
you blamed her.
I was like, can you help me file a police report? And she's like, no. And I'm like, well, can you get your family to help me out and help me replace some of my stuff? She's like, no. I'm like, you guys have so much money.
Yeah, but she probably
you can't get me a new BlackBerry. Yeah, she probably is on a short leash.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there was no assistance. It was just like, sorry, Charlie.
I remember a friend got very mad at me at Dragon Con because his car broke down. Now, this is in Atlanta, Georgia. I do not live in Atlanta. I was there for Dragon Con because Adult Swim was doing something. His car broke down. I felt bad for him. But at some point, it was like the last day, and they were going to drive back home, and his car broke down, couldn't work. Someone was coming to pick me up, like Jay Edwards or somebody like that. Was like, I'm going to go, and then, because I was staying at his house, because the next day we had a record of something for Adult Swim, and I was like, I have to go. I can't stay here and wait for the AAA to come for your car. You get very upset about why I wasn't waiting. And here's the thing. This was not like on the side of the road. This was in the parking garage at the Hilton, the downtown Hilton where Dragon Con always is. So it's not like he was in some dangerous spot. I remember him getting furious with me. And I thought, what do you want me to do? It's not like I'm a master mechanic that I'm going to fix your car. I'm just going to stand here with you. And then guess what? As soon as the car gets fixed, then I'm going to be stuck sitting here because I'm supposed to be at this guy's house where I'm supposed to spend the night for the thing we got to do the next day. I don't know how it relates to what you just said, but there's something in there. Someone that...
The audience can connect the dots.
Yeah, by the way, you said you were going to read people's things.
Yeah, I will later on.
Oh, I don't get to hear them.
At home. No, you don't deserve praise.
Oh, privacy.
I don't have my reading glasses, actually. But it's good that you brought that up. Because there is a fan. We've had a great audience response across the board. I have not read one bad comment except for, I'm sad you didn't get Brack to do his voice. But I don't believe in that. I don't believe in making people do what they're...
Perform.
I'd rather just talk to people and have people feel like they're not thinking about their lives for however long the podcast is. But here's what people hate, by the way. When you meet somebody... Don't go up to them and say, do the voice. Nobody asked you. I said to Dave, I'm like, Dave, how do you do it? Because I got people coming up to me doing Meatwad every day. Yeah. Off tour. People come up and do Meatwad and they're like, I can do it too. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, congratulations. And by the way, none of them sound that good. Well, it just amazes me that I'm like, Dave, how do you I mean, Dave's like the sweetest guy. He's an angelic human being. He's not going to be mean to anybody.
And also, Dave, I noticed this because, I see a lot of different voiceover people and things, go to conventions and things. Dave is definitely on the side of he likes doing the voice for people.
Yeah. I like seeing Dave in this con environment because I feel like he's finally gotten to get outside of William Street.
And he likes
and perform. He's not a performer, and he's not even a guy who tells jokes when you hang out with him. But I think a lot like Kermit the Frog, he gets to be a different person with these characters.
Oh yeah,
he gets to be someone who he's not.
Yeah. Well, he performs sometimes.
When
he does like open mic nights and things like that.
No way.
He does this with his guitar. He writes crazy songs.
Are you serious? I did not know that about him. But I feel like, he gets to like be someone he's never been allowed to be at these conventions.
Yeah, at these conventions, 100%. Like for example, when we are doing a panel together, he will immediately. Now, obviously, Carrie and I are at a different place because we sound like our characters essentially. Anyway, we're not doing a voice, but Dave, like the first thing, like, and also welcome, Dave Willis to the stage. Hey, how you doing, everybody? Hey, it's me, Meatwad. He'll like go right into it. There's no waiting.
That's one thing I struggle with at cons. It's like I'm supposed to do MCP pants, or that's what everyone does. They go up there and they give the audience a little treat of just basically it's what they want.
Yeah,
I hate doing my characters because they are yelling. Both my characters that I'm known for are yelling at the top of their lungs. I would kill at a con and get so much attention if I did what Gary Anthony Williams does.
Oh.
Where I'm screaming in character all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would make a lot of money. A lot of people would come to my concert. I would draw a lot of attention to me. But something has happened to me since I've become sober or old. I don't know. But I've changed. I do not want to draw attention to myself. And that's why I struggle with cons, is because you're supposed to be on all day doing this part. And it's a struggle for me.
I remember Tara Strong. We were at San Diego Comic-Con signing stuff for the Cartoon Network show Chowder. And it was Carl and myself, and Carl was the creator, and Tara. And she kept like going like, Dana, come on. We were just sitting there signing stuff. And she was like, why aren't you doing the voice? And I was like, I don't like doing the voice. I said, it's like, I don't like doing it. I feel embarrassed. I feel shy, whatever you want to say.
Everyone would stop on their tracks if I did MCP pants and look at me as if like somebody was being murdered.
Well, that's because if you did it like at the supermarket, where you're like, well,
that's exactly
screaming.
That's like, exactly. I would be like, pick up an aisle 3, call the security.
I just hate doing them. I hate doing them for people. I feel self-conscious. It's funny. I don't feel that way as much about Granny.
Gary's lucky because I feel like his grandpa character from
Uncle Ruckus.
From
Boondocks.
Boondocks, thank you. It's a lower register.
Yes.
So it's not very far away
from... It doesn't have to be loud.
It's not very far away from his normal speaking voice. MCP Pants is screaming.
But I mean, if Gary was MCP Pants and did it the same way you did, I do not think that would stop Gary from screaming. He is paying for his son's college education with everything that he says and does. He's a guy who is very funny, very lovely man. He's a born in the wool performer.
I used to be. I was always called a ham growing up. I was always a ham in every musical and play I was in. So much so that the directors would yell at me at intermission on show night.
What are you doing? You get yelled at intermission.
Well, I remember I was in Into the Woods. I was Jack, and I would improv. I'd improv a little bit, and the director, who was already a really abusive, horrible guy to begin with, but he'd confront me in the hallway, like as I was like running off stage to like run to my next place. He'd be like, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Yeah. I mean, because he was. I didn't know this, but he was a cult member of the Church of Sondheim, like where he was like, Or you know how people are with Shakespeare, Sondheim. It's like you don't move anything. But I was somebody who was destined to become an improviser at an improv theater, and which would put me on TV. But at the time,
Into the Woods.
But at that time, I was in Into the Woods. I was a junior and I was senior in high school or junior in high school or whatever it was.
I'm going to be on the side of your director on that one.
Well,
I did in the middle of.
I did the same thing in The Foreigner, which was a play I was in. I played this young kid. I just loved improv so much, but the director was more loosey goosey and more like, if you want to do improv for 5 minutes, and the audience is laughing, and everyone's having a great time, just go for it.
So were you like, if I turn out to the audience, the other 4 people on stage with me, you guys just sit down because I'm going to work some stuff. Like,
well, it'd be just me and another guy, and
me like backstage, like, what the fuck is he doing?
And Into the Woods, I think I just called Little Red Riding Hood a little snot.
Okay,
and that was it. But I would find, ways to get a laugh and ways to be funny, ways to ham it up.
Sure,
I was always doing that. And as I got older, I was just like, after I'd have just so much of people looking at me and paying attention to me and paying money to see me and just had so much of that, I think I've gotten to this place in my life where I'm like, I'm quieter and like to have nobody notice me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I said this to Dave, because when I was a drunk back in Atlanta and hanging out with the Adult Swim guys and drinking, I would roll down a hill, throw myself in a trunk to get a laugh from all the guys at the end of the night. And I was just crazy. I was drunk, but, I was just in this crazy place, a crazy place I am no longer in. So can I ask you one thing as we start to wrap it up?
As long as it's fabric arts based.
I'm going to ask you about, you have this scroll sticking out of your neon orange carry-on or whatever you'd call that. What would you call that bag?
It's a tote bag.
Not a purse.
Tote bag.
Tote.
Yeah.
I like a canvas tote. That seems a little loud for me.
I got this one. I love this bag. I'm a bag whore.
Are you?
Yeah, I ever got a bag.
I have a lot of canvas bags.
I got so many fucking bags. It's depressing almost. But I got this one from Rickshaw Bag Works. This is a hidden gem. Every bag is custom. So you pick the material you want, the trim, all that stuff.
Yeah, you've told me about this.
That's what this one's from.
Do you like tailor-made things? Do you like pretending you're an earl or a duke?
Listen, bespoke stuff is fantastic.
What's bespoke mean?
Bespoke, like made just for you. It's not mass-produced.
My dad had a little Italian tailor he would go visit every weekend, and it was a love affair. They loved talking to each other. Mm-hmm. My dad went to his daughter's wedding.
Listen, no one knows your father's body probably better than that guy.
More ball space for you, Mr. Ward.
Hey, you got them big balls. I'm going to make real nice pants for you. Not these asshole pants for little ball guys. You're going to get a big ball. Hey, Mr. Big Balls is back. Hey, baby. How you do? I take your balls like in a little baby cradle. They're going to be treated better than your balls ever been treated their whole life. You sit down, and now I'm going to measure the ball. I take a few pictures. Just for me. Okay. Now, what were we talking about? Anyway, the scroll. Louis is gone. It's out.
That was an attack.
Sorry.
Okay, so you've got this scroll sticking out of your bag.
It
looks like you knit.
It's not a knit.
It's not knitting? What is this?
Knitting is, you just have
Is
yarn.
this cross stitch?
This is needlepoint.
Needlepoint.
Needlepoint's almost like cross stitch, but you go lower left to upper right, cross stitch, then you'd go upper left to lower right, make an X. This is just one way. So this will be a pillow.
You're making a pillow for a friend.
Like a throw pillow, eventually.
This friend must be amazing. Did they save your life?
Well, no, it's for me.
Oh, it's for you.
It's not for a friend.
You are your own
Did I
friend.
say it was a friend? It's for our house, you know. It's from the trip we took, and then I'm going to put, because it's a map of Paris, but I'm going to put all the little spots we went in there, like little green dots or whatever. Like
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, and then after that one, I find it very soothing because it's like a repetitive, But I like doing stuff where I have to put on my like intense reading glasses and real quiet and slow. And basically I do this every time I'm sitting in my car waiting for something for my daughter. So like this right now represents all these stitches and things represent sitting in the car waiting at pickup.
How long has this been going on?
This one is probably from
doing this art form at all.
I don't know, maybe 5 months.
Wow. Because I see these things advertised that are called like wobbles or something, and it's crocheting different nerdy characters.
Oh yeah, like a doll. Almost.
Yeah. Like, man, I'm on the cusp of doing this.
I like these because this is a printed out. Now this one in here, since everyone asked, this one is a cross stitch. This one's almost done. I got to do all the background.
That could be on CBS News Sunday morning.
Yeah, but this is cross stitch. And then
that's a lot of work.
I mean, the thing is, I sit around and wait, and what I don't want to do is I don't want to end up just on my phone for an hour while I'm waiting for pickup at the end of the day.
Why not?
So I bring this.
What's wrong with the phone?
Because then I just waste it. Well, this way I do this, then I look like, oh yeah, that's all of 5th grade.
You waste what? Waste the time?
Yeah, because I don't really do anything on there. And I find I do cross stitch, I don't watch it.
You haven't tried doom scrolling?
I just, I hear a lot about it.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's sapping.
Yeah, I just want to be on something that's not. The other interesting thing is when I do it, because I do it also when she goes to her tutor and I wait in the lobby, get a lot of interesting conversations started. It's a conversation. Nobody walks up to you and say, oh, what are you doing there on that phone?
You want people to bother you.
No, I don't. And normally they don't, especially men. They look at me like I'm a real weirdo. But guess what? I am a weirdo, so fine. But then every once in a while,
I just want you to know that our kids can't be friends.
Yeah. We are never having a play date. Good.
There's this line in Accidental Tourist where he's like, when you're on a plane, read a book, because then they won't bother you.
That's very good advice.
Because now that we've done this podcast, I've started to think about who you are exactly. Because before this podcast, I should say before we started having breakfast, I had no sense of who you were in life, other than when Jay Edwards took me to the smokehouse when I first came to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, Dana holds court outside, and and he smokes cigarettes, and we all talk, and we hang out forever. That gave me a sense that you were some sort of kind of rat pack,
social
LA,
really, it's my
man about town.
Yeah.
But since we started doing this podcast, it's made me wonder, who is Dana? What does he do at night?
Then you figured it out.
When the kids are asleep.
Not much.
And are you watching? You're not watching TV. Are you listening to podcasts or audio?
No, you know what I do at night? I do watch I'll do this, but I'll set my iPad next to me and put some show on. Some whatever.
What are you watching?
Well, right now I've been watching Cracker, the Robbie Coltrane show on BritBox, which is he was a detective. No, he was a psychologist. This is mid-90s, this show. And I thought it would be lovable, Robbie Coltrane, who played Hagrid and all the
the John Coltrane who done it on BritBox is totally different.
Yes. It's wildly intense.
Yeah.
He is a psychologist, but he's totally on the rocks with his wife, and he's an alcoholic, gambleaholic, not in a funny, whimsical way. It's just
anti-hero.
It's almost depressing.
Yeah.
His psychology style, I think why it's called Cracker is because he'll go in I know you did it. I have
such an addiction to British mystery shows.
It's great.
My only problem is when I finished one and I'm searching for the next one. And then I'm just so I try so many things for a couple of episodes, but then I can't hang.
Tons of them.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of them too. I probably watched the same things that you've watched. But then you get to that point where you hit a wall and you're like, I need more, but I don't know where to look. And you're reading lists about top 10 whodunits and
no, I just turn them all. I get them all through Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's how I do it too.
But I have the Acorn and the BritBox.
I had BritBox. I stopped it because I felt like I wasn't using it enough. I'm watching.
Start watching that cracker.
I'm watching Fargo on Hulu.
Oh yeah, I never saw it.
I'm going backwards. I just did season 5. Now I'm doing season 4. I've seen 1, 2, and 3. But season 5 was like amazing. I was so surprised. And then I'm like, let's go watch season 4. We tried to watch it. We lost interest and stopped watching it. And then I just am super into it. I get to watch an hour of TV like my mom with her tea. I get to watch an hour of TV, and I really shouldn't take that hour at the end of the day because I'm getting 5 hours of sleep, and then sometimes I get to have get 2 more hours during the day if I'm lucky. But I'll have a busy day like today, and I'll have no time to fit sleep into the schedule. And so it's like you can't have that me time at the end of the day, or you have it and it's an hour and it's so sacred. It's so special. But then, it's also like you shouldn't even be giving yourself that time. I clean the kitchen, I get the dishwasher going, sit down, watch an episode of TV.
Put that Fargo on.
Put the Fargo on. I love it because it's got all these Easter eggs to all the Coen Brothers movies, and it's got
That's interesting.
For a cinephile, it's like, and there's something about me. It's like I feel like everything's bad. I'm kind of a curmudgeon when it comes to TV. I've like
restaurants.
I'll try a show like Homeland, and then I'll be like, well, this character's stupid, and I'll shut it off after after a season.
That's why I don't watch a lot of that stuff. It's all kind of dumb.
Well, the character has to make a bad move. They just have to make some sort of move where I'm like, well, even the dumbest person wouldn't do that.
Yeah, like all of television is phony. It's just, some of it I can find ways to enjoy it. But all those so you're real cool, your motorcycle gang? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Real tough.
I'm watching White Lotus right now, and I love White Lotus, but only because it reminds me of The Love Boat.
Yeah.
I love a show, and that's why I like Fargo too. I love a show that's like limited, has a different cast that's constantly switching up and changing. Yeah. And so it's like different all the time. I think maybe my attention span has become such a thing where it's like I can't watch.
Well, it's just more interesting.
Yeah.
And it's giving more people a chance to be on it.
It was great. Remember Love Boat? You'd see like some character from another show, and they'd act totally different on Love Boat. It was like a different dimension.
Yeah. There's one of those weird streaming channels that just like you can't choose what you want to watch. You just put it on. That's on like Amazon Fire when you go to live TV. They show the Love Boat like 12 hours a day. It's just one after the other, and it's fantastic.
It's such good TV.
To us,
yeah.
Maybe those kids watching Homeland are like, that's the real shit.
Yeah, I would watch Three's Company. It was such an education, and my mom would hear like them making some sort of crazy joke,
sex reference,
some sort of reference to sex, and my mom would be like, "Hey, why don't we?" I just could hear it in my mom's voice being like, "Why don't we go play Legos, or why don't you go play in the basement with your brother?
Get out of my house."
Yeah, it wasn't get out of my house, but there was definitely like, what the? It's like my mom was barely parenting. But there was some sort of alarm system she had where if she heard Jack Tripper talking about boobs or something, she'd be like, hey.
She heard it exactly how Mr. Furley heard it, which was very sexually innuendo-laden.
Yeah, but I didn't think of it as a sexual show at all. I had no idea.
You were watching.
I just thought this guy might fall down.
You knew they were just putting up a shower curtain in the bathroom.
This guy falls down in the beginning of the intro. Yeah. He might fall down again.
He's a clown.
I'm waiting for another trip. Yeah, it's like Dick Van Dyke show. It's like, when's he gonna fall over this ottoman?
Yeah.
When's that happen? When's that happen?
Next season where he skips around the.
There was a time where I went through a phase where it's like, the basement was always just like filled with G.I. Joes. We played G.I. Joe down there. And then there was a time where they set up the black and white TV, the first TV my parents had.
Oh.
And I would watch Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Saturday Night Live. I think just those two shows because they were like rerun shows. And then there was another time I had like a Watchmen, which is like a tiny TV. I'd watch Honeymooners and The Muppet Show at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Because when you're back in back in the 80s, you would find the show you wanted to watch, and it would be at some really difficult time to watch it at. Like I liked Small Wonder, but it was on at Saturday at 4:30 or something. You couldn't find these shows. But I loved seeking this stuff out and having these little private moments with TV.
I think I was late almost every day because the Muppet Show was on at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so I could not leave until 7:31. And it was just enough time as I would take me to get to school.
I feel like a Muppet episode we're on the cusp of a Muppet episode. I wanted to talk about the past two episodes, but we haven't gotten into it. But we talked about it just like as soon as the mics were turned off. And then we started talking about it. I'm like,
Speaking of turning off, I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, well, we're done.
Yeah.
Okay, well, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Maybe we'll do Muppets another time.
Yeah. I didn't want to,
I'll make it work.
I realize. They don't care.
Hey, this is MC Chris here again to tell you to go to mcchris.com and check out my tour dates for this summer. Tickets and info, everything you're going to need is right there at mcchris.com. 45 shows going everywhere. If we're not coming to your town, let me know. Or if you're a venue who wants to have a show on a day I have a day off, write me at mcchrisbooking@gmail.com. Go to mcchris.com and go check out my tour dates for my big celebrating 20 years of touring tour this summer. I hope I see you out there. Thank you so much for letting me do this for 20 years. That's crazy. I never thought I would hold a job for that long, but you've let me do just that. So I hope to see you out there. Go to mcchris.com and check it out. Thanks. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. Bye.